Welcome everyone. I am excited to kick off this um, weekly support, live event that I'll be doing. Looking to do this weekly. Not sure for how long. Could be a couple weeks, could be a couple months. But wanted to definitely get something going and provide a support avenue. So first, my name is Burdette Tatum, and I am the owner of Tatum Accounting Services, better known as TAS. And a little bit about myself, but most of my experience has been in real estate accounting, commercial, residential, and for the last 9 years, I've had the awesome pleasure to serve in the senior living industry, where I've just gained a wealth of knowledge. I worked for an awesome operator in the space, and background is accounting, obviously, and maybe not obviously, but um, became in contact with a lot of the business office staff. Okay, and so I'm gonna get to what motivated me to focus or create this support avenue. What's a big focus of our firm and what we like to look to accomplish. So we provide accounting services for the senior living industry. We provide accounting services for the masses, but have a big focus in the senior living space. Just because there's a lot that we can do and help in that space. And more than just on the accounting side, support like this to the business office who this support webinar is for. Um, when I say the business office leaders, I'm talking about the president. I'm talking about a big piece of that is the business office manager, or community business director, or community office director. I mean, there's different names we use in the industry, but that business office manager who was handling a lot of the accounting side of the business, and we'll talk about that. But this support is a great opportunity for them to plug in, ask some questions. I'm able to use my experience, my knowledge to help them out, and just a great opportunity to support that group, because that group is a very busy group, right? These business office leaders are responsible for the business office. They're covering the front desk. They're in memory care. They're even driving the activities bus sometimes. And so it's very important for that group of awesome people to have just available resources. And I want to be a part of that solution and providing resources and really being able to speak to that group. So getting into what I want to cover today, you know, there's an accounting cycle, a business cycle that flows with events in the community. There's an accounting piece to that, and so the business office staff knows all too well, right? Like there's things that are happening that there are accounting events that need to be reflected in the financials. So ultimately, these financials are going to be in the hands of your investors or operators, and decisions are going to be made. And so a lot of that activity starts with you, which is why we're putting the focus on the business office team. And that's if that's the first time you've heard it explained like that, that's really the truth. All that activity is initiated from your efforts, and so in light of that, there's controls and good processes that need to be in place so that that information is accurate. And that's where an organization like myself or TAS comes in to help. And what we'll be helping support with this free weekly support webinar, if you will. So very simply, a move in, right? That event creates an accounting event. And there's charges that have to go, there's revenue that's going to be booked because you're putting them in the system and charges are hitting that. And then, there's expenses related to that. But simply put, that's going to roll up into the financials, right? Putting in an invoice and coding it, that's your expense side, right? Again, ultimately, that's going to roll up to the financials. So anyway, so I gave a little bit about myself, talked about the purpose and really the passion around creating this, just because again, I think that group oftentimes can be overlooked, right? It's common to maybe bring on a consultant to help improve the marketing. It's common to maybe even bring on a consultant to help with the dining program. Um, Maybe not so common to bring on a consultant or have focus on strengthening that business office. Not saying it doesn't happen, but just from my experience, maybe not so common. So in any event, we want to be a part of that solution. Want to be able to offer the experience that we've gained in the industry. Again, almost right at 9 years of directly touching hundreds of business office staff and business office leaders, bouncing ideas and really learning about their role and what they're going to go through. So getting back to, I want to paint an overview for this call, and it's again talking about that accounting cycle that lays in the backdrop as we have activities happening in the community, which the business office leader needs to be able to capture. And so if we started from the reservation process, right? So we know that the marketing team is working hard, and we're getting tours and folks in and out of the community to get that to get the deposit, right? That first, if you will, accounting event, right? Where somebody comes and tours the building, they love it, they fall in love, and they say, "Hey, I want to get suite 101," right? And so they write a check or pay with card or whatever, and they put down a reservation deposit. So that unit can be quote unquote taken off the market or reserve. So when that person comes back to move in. So, you know, the community business director, or we're just going to use the word business office leaders, got to go into the system and make certain transactions to record that into the financials, right? There's got to be a charge that hits the ledger. There's got to be a payment that goes against that charge. Seems very simple, right? There's got to be processes around that, though, just to make sure that that's moving smoothly. The things we want to help support with, right? Like, so we've seen a lot of in a lot of instances where at the beginning that's not being recorded accurately, and so it shows up at the end when it's time to refund this person or that person cancels, and it's time to refund. And the way your accounting system is going to work, that information at the beginning needs to put in correctly. We can get into incentives and all that, and that just makes it even more complicated. But there's, again, back to the accounting and business cycle that has to happen. Those charges have to go in correctly. Those payments have to go in correctly. At TAS, we talk about a lot having healthy ledgers, right? So you want to, just like we go to the doctor and get a checkup, we want, our communities, they have their ledgers to have a checkup, and just to make sure the process around recording things in ledger are appropriate. So they give way to having healthy ledgers. So again, starting with the reservation process, that kind of begins it, where you have to transition from the sales team in most cases coming over to the business office. Now with that reservation agreement and deposit in hand, so now the team member can go in and book that in the system. And then we come from that phase to everything that happens in the move-in process. So reservation, then to move in. I like to break it into 3 simple buckets, right? Reservations, then to move in. There's a lot of things that happen around the move in that just over the years I've seen, some of the community struggle with, and just being able to, document some of those things, how they show up in the financials, reports to run to easily get to information. So somebody's moving in, right? So there's things that have to happen on the move-in, right? Obviously, the move-in dates have to be correct. You've got to have, we want to have good controls around documenting leases and dates and all that kind of stuff, because again, the system is going to put out bad reports and output if the input is not good. So you got your move-in going, we got processes around that we want to help support with. I want to, we're open for teams to get on these calls and ask those questions, challenges that they're having, where we think our experience can assist them in navigating and solving some of those issues. But within that move-in process, which is probably the longest piece of this accounting business process, as we have residents come in our building, you're going to have things like rate increases that are going to happen throughout that move-in, within that process once they move in. We want good controls and processes around that. Is the system set up to notify the leader so that they can get letters out in the mail to notify the families before there's an increase? Nothing worse than, the family getting a bill and their bill is $400, $500, $600 higher than it was last month with no notification, right? And so we've even seen opportunities where, hey, we may have to miss a rate increase or push it back because we didn't get proper notifications. So something simple as, we like Yardi, but there's plenty of property management systems out there. Um, to make sure, but my point is making sure that the system is built in and set up for notifications early enough so that the business office leader can do what they need to do to make sure the families are informed. Room transfers are going to happen, so you're going to have plenty of room transfer. And again, within this process, we're at number 2, so reservations. Then we're at this move-in process, and then while they're in the building, there's a lot of events that can happen that need to be accounted for on the accounting side. So you got room transfers that take place. And so you got rate for different rooms. And so that's got to happen. Again, that's building the financials, because we talked about where we come in as accountants, right? From CPA through, maintaining accounts payables, entering charges, and things like that. We're able to support. But knowing what that end product looks like really allows us to get in and help. And again, that mixed with the experience of work with so many business office leaders, I think we're able to fill in a lot of those gaps. So room transfers, ancillary charges, right? So beauty and barber charges. A lot of our amazing communities have maybe somebody that sits in the community that provides, beautician services. So you might have those ancillary charges that need to go in. So again, the mechanism to being able to document and account for those charges, right? Those manual charges that could be one-offs, weekly charges that need to go in. A good process is to make sure that those go into the system. A good process to make sure those charges are not being lost and missed out. And we're not billing residents for them, because we've got to pay the beautician depending on how the community is set up. So things like that are happening once our lovely residents are in the building, and whatever we can do to help strengthen a community's business office, that's what we want to do. And so obviously, as the awesome residents have been in your amazing communities, then at some point, if they have to move out, then there's a process around that, right? So we got move out procedures that need to be that take place. And I'm kind of just doing an overview on this first. This is kind of support call number 1, and I just want to kind of paint a picture and do an overview of reservations, the move-in process. And when I say move-in process, I'm talking about everything that happens up through the move-out, and then the move-out process. What does the discharge process look like? We have good documentation around that. Do we have good processes to, are we going into rooms, and are we, checking the rooms and make sure that, a lot of times I think, we've seen, maybe we're not picking up move-out charges that need to be picked up for, damage to the room possibly, or whatever the case may be. The type procedures on, hey, we have a resident that leaves our community, but the belongings still occupy the suite. Good process in place to make sure that we're not cutting off billing, but the room we still can't, community still can't lease it out. And so I've seen way too many times where billing gets stopped prematurely, and then we've got to go back and make corrections, or you just maybe missed out on the billing. And just having good controls with the business office leader and them working in tangent with their accounting teams or their operators, just to make sure that stuff is documented and it's clear. And so the simple process there could be, hey, look, we don't move anybody out in the system until the room is clear. Again, so we don't have to go back and make adjustments to the ledger. And we always preach that the ledger can be 100% right mathematically, but if it's got a lot of charges and credits and adjustments and all that stuff, that just gives reason for if I'm a family member to say, hey, that ledger is not right. It's just too confusing, right? And now the business leaders got to spend time on the phone trying to smooth that over, and it just can be a headache. And so we want to help think through what are some processes that you can put in place to make sure that you're protecting your ledgers, to make sure that clean ledgers are going out to the families, to hopefully minimize any issues and to improve payments. So when you look at that accounting cycle that happens as our lovely residents are in these communities, from reservations to the move out process, there's a lot of accounting that goes into that, and there's a lot of opportunity which we believe that we can come alongside of these communities. If we can just help one community at a time, and we wanted to create this platform and this environment for any community to be able to dial in, ask some questions where we can support. Again, we're leaning on our experience in the industry, a lot of experience there that we can help answer any issues or solve any issues, answer any questions for our business office leaders. Because again, over the years, we've worked with that group quite a bit, and we've seen a lot of things. We developed relationships, and truly just have a real passion to help support and train. So I'm hopeful this platform is one, engaging, but more so very beneficial to those that will end up watching this video and join future calls. And you can depend on me to be committed to chasing down solutions for you, to speak on real experiences. We'll do a lot more video sharing of actual situations in the future, but I wanted to get this first support call out there and going, and just open up an opportunity for business leaders in different communities to be able to get some help and just get some support. And I think TAS can definitely fill that gap for you. So again, Tatum Accounting Services, we are an accounting firm, an outsourced accounting firm, where we provide accounting for many businesses, but we have a huge focus on the senior living industry. We've got a lot of experience there, and we just love the working with the business office staff. We've worked with them quite a bit, and it's just been a rewarding relationship. So look at us as your support. We're doing this for you. Yes, I'm talking to you, business office manager. If you go by community business director, we're talking to you. We're talking to your presidents, that whole staff. That whether you're working with Yardi or whether you're working with another property management system, we believe that we can be of some benefit. So please dial into this weekly call. Watch it, ask questions, get your questions answered. We'll look to be connecting this maybe to our YouTube channel, things like that. But just have this level of support. Not afraid to, extend our our help and our experience, and hopefully we can be a good solution for you. So anyway, we're doing this weekly from 2 to 3. At least that's the time that we're going to block out. We may go 30 minutes, we may go the whole hour, but the plan will be to get back on next week and just dig more into, excuse me, that accounting business process, and dig into move-ins and dig into certain issues that we've seen. I mean, we've got a long list of issues that we've seen for the last 9 years of working with the business office staff. I've done countless trainings with the team, directly work with them in a lot of trainings. And so again, we want to provide that experience for you all. So this is for you. You've got support in your corner. Don't hesitate to reach out to our team at Tatum Accounting Services. We'll be putting a lot of this information out there, easy to reach us, where we can help support. Thank you so much for watching this, and I look forward to working with all you all. Thank you so much.